Info channel. Subscribe now.
Thank you guys. So I'm just gonna get right to the discussion. And mental health. Mental health is very important, guys. Can I just say something? Being an adolescent, it's rough. That's all I can say. It's such a rough period. Well, not really. I really have to pick it up. It's just, Abby, shut up. I thought, let's do a panel, and have other people as well share their opinions and their experiences as well when it comes to mental health. But also, remember that if at any given point you want to share something, or you want to ask a question even, or someone asks a question and you want to answer it, feel free, because it's like an open discussion and stuff. But one thing before we begin, I would like to say is, when you are sharing an experience, please don't mention any names. Like say, person A, person B, I'm going to this school, this happened, just try not to mention any names, but feel free to share anything. This is a non-judging zone. And so I'm going to invite our first panelist onto the stage. Drum roll, please. Brenda Magay. Thank you so much for being on the phone. Guys, isn't she gorgeous? Can we just actually wow? Wow! Imagine. And she is a psychometrist. Is that good? Yeah. Psychometrist in training. When she told me this, I was like, nice. And then I went to Google, I'm like, what is a psychometrist? But she'll explain to us what that is, in case you don't know. And you can just feel free to take a seat. As I invite our second panelist, drum rolls again. And his name is Herbert Katua. Welcome. Yes. Let's just, as he walks out the stage. Thank you so much for being on the panel. Oh my God. He's an entrepreneur, and I just feel like I've heard his story about how he started his business, which is really big. I don't know if you've heard about it, but they deal with like phone accessories. You heard about it. And I was like, it would be amazing if you could come and share with us his experiences as well. So we have few things to do. And then our third panelist is going to be, drum roll please, Madame Gabrielle Chams. Gabrielle Chams, thank you so much. Well, you know what, she's my sister. I was like, you're going to be on the panel, you didn't really have a choice. But thank you anyway. Thanks. And so okay, our other panelists are not here, but you know what, we're just continue. And we're just doing it. Okay, nice. So first, I don't even know if I want to sit down. So, I've already introduced them. So this is actually, this is good. Round of applause for everything. So I've already introduced them, but guys, I'm sorry, I just didn't want to sit down. I've already introduced them, but please can you just because we want to hear from you guys, tell us, I already said your names, but what else is there to introduce? No, just say your names again, just say hi to people, tell us a bit about yourself, who would like to go first? Ren, you have the microphone.
I'm a life coach and I'm a youth and child counselor. I work for Safe Space. Safe Space is a mental health organization. We deal with all therapy, but counseling, but also coaching. And we do a lot of boring corporate stuff, but today I'm just here for you guys. And every chance and all of you teenagers and young human beings, you're doing incredible. just keep doing what you're doing.
And Safe Space has actually sponsored us. So thank you so much to Safe Space with you'll learn more about what they sponsored later, but they also sponsored Zima.
Hi. Crazy. Hi, my name is Brenda. I'm a psychometrist in training. So basically, I just work with like everybody in regards to like doing assessments on children and adolescents, and just to like trying to find out if they have any academic barriers, and we provide accommodations to that. I work at Premier Care in Masaki. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Hi everyone. My name is Albert. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm the founder and CEO of Pipsberry. Anyways, my company deals with has 3 subsidiaries. It has Pipsberry Workshop, and Pips Mobile Doctor. So I'm here with you guys today, and we're going to share a lot of things and insight about mental health in general. Thank you so much.
Okay, wait, but before he goes on, Herbert, Mr. CEO, can you tell us how old you are? Because things he's saying is like, I'm an old guy. How old are you?
I'm 24.
He's 24, guys. Wow. And honestly, this is amazing. You're doing okay. Well, that's she's not really important. So basically, that's it. I don't mind.
Hi everybody, my name is Gabrielle Chams, Abby's older sister. Right, I am a director at Untitled Chapter Limited, which is a financial firm, and I'm also CEO and founder of Gabrielle's Home, which deals with event planning, interior designing, aprons, tablecloths, napkins. Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited to be here and talk about mental health with you guys. Also, just because I forgot to kind of say in the beginning, when we get to discussions and you're giving like examples or scenarios, please don't mention institutions, don't mention names. Just say person A or person B or a boy or a girl, just
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, G. So, I was gonna say something and then I forgot, guys. Oh my god, I was so annoyed. What was I gonna say? Anyway, so my name is Abby. I'm 17 and I'm the founder of TikTok's Chams, and that's the introduction thing, so I'm coming. So now, I'm so excited, guys. So, let us begin, guys. So, we're going to talk about mental health. Now, I want to start with Brenda. So I want to start with Brenda because we actually, as panelists, we spoke like, what will we talk about, because just so we on class, and she said, I really want to touch on emotional intelligence. I was like, wow. Okay. So Brenda, first, can you explain what emotional intelligence is? And then you can just talk about it.
Oh, okay. So what? So basically what emotional intelligence is like self-awareness or self-management of your own emotions. Because at the end of the day, you don't really, for example, if you're interacting with somebody, you don't really know how their response is, right? So if you can like kind of register their body language, or for example, kind of like, basically like it's like a self-management thing, because at the end of the day, sorry. So like it's like a self-management thing. So like you can like, in the sense like, despite whatever you're talking about that person, that okay, I know myself. I'm gonna talk to this person about this and this and this, and at the end of the day, I want to feel this type of way afterwards, despite whatever conversation you're having. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I've also been doing some research on like emotional intelligence, and like just like what you said, it's like kind of having the ability to be able to manage your own emotions. Like I wouldn't say talking to yourself, but like if you're mad, think what made me angry, And I can say that this really helps because sometimes I'll be having like something is upsetting me, and instead of really just letting it upset me, like before it gets out of hand. I'll sit down and I'll think to myself, why am I angry? You know, why? And then I'll think about it and I'll realize, hey, you know what? It's really not, you know, it's okay. I can make it through this, it's fine. And I feel like that's really important. But like, let's say I'm not really that good at, let's say, having that much control over my emotions. What do I do? Like, how?
Firstly, because I asked my boss this
Yeah.
exact same question.
Yeah.
I'm like, so like, how?
Yeah.
Firstly, it's not easy at all. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, you need to do this 8. No, 100%. And she literally told me, she's like, sucks. But she's like, you need to be the bigger person in certain situations. And I'm like, how? When someone is being like that, and I'm like, I have to be like, time. You should shake it all go. I'm like, nah. But you know,
Yeah.
it's a lot of work. And I think personally, it's like a personal choice to do so, you know? Yeah.
Definitely. What do you just feel like, yes. What do you feel?
First of all, thank you for like also my coordinator just putting me up here. So, emotional intelligence is a broad space,
Yeah.
right? That we have all our emotions, their coping mechanisms. We all get angry, we all feel happy, we
Yeah.
feel sad. Especially as teenagers, depression, 20% of teenagers suffer under depression. The numbers between like scientifically and just imagine in Tanzania or other African countries, we do not have the counting.
Yeah.
Right? So what does it do? Abby, you told us at the beginning, a lot of people in the adolescence years, you've got school, you've got parents, you've got boyfriends, your bodies are changing, right? All of these things. So in school, early year school, we learn writing, we learn reading, we learn all of these things.
Yeah.
But maybe let's say kindergarten, you get taught like, when you're angry, do this, when
Count
you're
to 10. I can't even count to 10 at 5. What are you telling me?
So all these things, and unfortunately our education system, how it exists right now, it doesn't have like emotional learning.
Yeah, that's so true.
Right?
Yeah.
Definitely something, and we're all creating this together as a community.
Yeah.
So for you first, emotional intelligence is the ability to scale my emotions.
Yeah.
Where am I? How am I feeling? Am I happy? Am I angry? Am I depressed? Am I all these different many things? Second, what does this make me feel? Like, am I still in tantrums? Right? Even grown-ups have tantrums. Don't like no one ever tell you that grown-ups don't know. We have tantrums. Okay?
Yeah.
So now, how do I deal with them?
Yeah.
You said counting to 10. That's kind of like, let's say, the first step.
Yeah.
Grounding. There are many more coping mechanisms, and I'm very happy to share them with you as we go on. For grounding, breathing, scaling, meditation.
Yeah.
But of course, when you're in school and your teachers or parents are like, why are your grades falling? You're not like, so this and many more. But emotional intelligence is so important for us to move forward, to like also just open our scales of like, how do I communicate? How do I tell someone, this is how I feel and this is how I do not want to feel. So I'm very happy to like share these things with others.
Yeah, thank you. Do you have anything you want to add on to that? Not really? What do you want to know today about it? No, in general.
Anyways, I had highlighted a few things here about mental health.
Yeah.
Like, what's the meaning of mental health? The early warning signs and some treatments of a particular issue. So I gathered some few things here. According to WHO, the World Health Organization, mental health is a state of well-being in which an individual realizes his or her abilities and how to cope up with emotional stress and work productively for himself and for society. You understand? So mental health is something that is very, 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 very important in all aspects of life. You know, when you're doing business or you're doing, I don't know, you're working or you're schooling, you have to be very, very, very mental for you to really cooperate and work effectively. Understand? So a few things I came across, and it's really nice if we could share together. Maybe this thing,
and then I just want to add on. I really do want to add on to what you're saying about what mental health is, and the reason it's so important is because it really does affect, like you said, it affects all aspects of our lives. It affects how we relate to others, how we handle stress, how we act, how we feel, and it's so important. And one thing that I feel, okay, so I was having, let me tell you what happened. I was telling someone about Teen Talk or we're going to talk about. And then they said, yeah, but I don't want to come. And I said, why? And they were like, because, you know, I'm not suffering from a mental health illness, so I was like, bro, wait, what? You know, I realized that whenever mental health is brought up, it's quickly associated with having a mental illness. But that's not it. Yes, mental health, I mean, mental illnesses are a huge part of mental health, but being mentally healthy is not just the absence of a mental disorder, but it's seeking after happiness, after well-being. You want to add on something? Yeah?
But I can say after you.
Okay, yeah. It's not just not having a mental illness, but it's also just you mentally, you know, like your mental well-being, you get? And it made me, I thought it was kind of like, even though, let's say, you don't have a mental illness, it's not, mental health does not only involve those that are having the mental health issue. It's also about what you're doing about it. Like, how are you treating those around you? Yeah, you don't have a mental health illness, but how are you treating those that are around you? Because it's not just about the people suffering, but it's also about the people that are around them, the environment. Are you being nice to people? Are you showing your friends that you're there for them and that it's okay to reach out for help and that they should not be ashamed of whatever it is that they're going through? Yeah, you can just share.
I was going to say that, sure, is there something to switch on? Sorry. I just hold?
Oh, hello. So I was going to say that something that I wanted to bring up is also that people who have mental illnesses are not necessarily crazy or not, I don't even know if I should say necessarily because what is crazy even? But so many people are depressed and don't know it. So many people have anxiety disorders and don't know it. So many people have like anger management issues, and that in itself is like an issue with your mental health, and it doesn't mean that you are crazy, but I feel like most of us have mental issues, and like a lot of us will have mental illnesses that are not brought up because we've just never spoken to a professional about it, and it doesn't mean that you're crazy. Most people are like that anyways. And also, it's not that depressed people are this way, you know, schizophrenics are this way. What is this? Like like bipolar, like people are always this way and that way. It's not like you're like you're not always a specific way.
Yeah.
Not all depressed people are the same.
Yeah.
And you don't, you know, there are some people who feel like I'm not depressed because like, yeah, I'm happy sometimes, or they're not depressed because they're smiling or whatever. But a lot of people are suffering on the inside, and a lot of people aren't showing signs. And I feel like the main point I'm trying to make is that it's normal to not actually be completely mentally stable, and that doesn't make you crazy. And I feel like some people are scared to go for therapy and are scared to go seek help because if you do, that means I'm crazy. Or like some people, I feel like with our, like a lot of African parents, there's like a problem where it's like, oh, my child doesn't have depression. Like that's like some people believe like it's like spiritual, like whatever. Some people feel like, oh, my child is not crazy. How could you say that? But some people can actually get depression like passed down within their families. Like it's a lot to do with imbalance that you might have within your actual body rather than being crazy. And like it just, you need to seek help if you have an issue. Like
exactly, yeah. And I feel like just like you're saying about how the parents would be like, no, my child doesn't need therapy. It's like, because it's not been, I don't know how to say this, but like people are normalizing being able to reach out for help. Like we need to tell our, well not our children, but we need to, people should understand that it's fine. You know, it's okay that, just like she said, seeing a therapist doesn't mean that you're crazy, let's say. You know, that it's totally okay and it's normal to go and speak to a professional about something that you're feeling, you understand? Remember sometimes, and then we can take next.
To add to what Mrs. Annie said, it's like a lot of people don't really want to, Middle Eastern culture where I'm from, it's like mental illness is not spoken about, because if it's spoken about, then it's like, she's crazy, or he's crazy. So we don't speak about it. And then you just grow up with that mentality, and then you sit down and you're like, I might actually have anxiety, but I can't really admit to it, and I don't want to talk, I don't want to like, people don't want to have that conversation, because then you're proving to yourself that yes, you do have this problem. And if you have that problem, you're going against all the cultural rules, and you can't really speak to your family about it. So it's also about being willing to have that conversation, to be like, maybe I do have this problem, where a lot of people are still very hesitant. They just don't want to be able to know what's wrong with them. They'll just be like, oh, anger issues, my family's like that. I get it from my parents, not because I'm unstable, because I get anger quickly, not because I'm bipolar. It's just, oh, it's such a normal thing. So they don't want to agree to have that conversation, to be like, maybe there is a problem that I should seek help.
Also, I'd say like it's hard to open up to parents because it's like you have everything, you have a house, you have education, you have food. Why would you be sad? Why would you be depressed? So it makes you feel like you can't open up to anybody because I have everything. Like, what exactly do I have to be depressed about? Because you think there are people out there who don't have anything, and then there's me here who has everything, and then you just feel like maybe me feeling like this is a sort of privilege, which it shouldn't feel like that. And that's why it's really hard for us to open up, especially in our families or to other people around us. I know.
This is why I feel like, especially in the African context, that I feel like emotional intelligence is so important, because at the end of the day, your parents will say that to you, you know what I mean? And it's like, dude, it's not even about that, right? Like, so that's why I think that like emotional intelligence is so important, because whatever your parents might say to you, as long as yourself, you know in your heart, like, listen, I'm not crazy, like, what, my feelings are valid, you know? So, yeah. I wanted to say, just to add on to your point.
Oh, do you want to add something? Okay, I was going to say, just to add on to that, like, and you as well, you know, you might be like, even though, I don't know, okay, now.
I really appreciate all of your comments and thank you for sharing that. I would just like us to look at vocabularies, right, in terms of use crazy and healthy. When we think about mental health and you were about to share the WHO, if you want to do it, otherwise I'll help you out. It's a scale, okay? Think about your mental health in general health, okay? Today I'm healthy, tomorrow I can be a little bit unhealthy. It's 1 and a 10, okay? Sometimes I feel like a 10, I'm the best version of myself. But there are days I feel 1. And the practice in it, mental health practice, is to stay in the middle lane. We all come from different backgrounds, and sometimes we have great supporters. We learn the poem, right? And we can manage to be in the middle. Some of us manage most of the time to be in the upper scale, but sometimes we are also in the lower scale, and then we can practice and there are different things how we can do. But crazy, we use that term so easily in terms of mental health, like mental health issues, we're saying bipolar, anxiety. There's so many we could talk 5 weeks of continue having these talks. So just maybe if we can watch the vocabulary and use mindfulness instead of craziness.
Okay. So there's a hand. Okay. You can just start and then.
So there's this whole discussion about emotional intelligence, because you can't control something you don't understand. You know, so before, you know, informing people on mental or
people take time and our society takes time to explain to young people and people of all types what it really means to feel sad, what it really means to feel depressed, because these things mean very different things. Being sad and being depressed are not the same. They're two different feelings. So if we start off by making sure people understand their emotions, then you can teach them how they can control those emotions at the right time.
Actually, as well, thank you for your point, you're right. But as well, when you pointed out about emotional awareness, that's actually quite true because it helps us out to realize on what state we really are. Because we partly spiritually live in this world. So we have to balance the two. Ideally, I can't just wake up and, have a bad start of the day and go on just feeling like that. I need to know and understand what current state am I in my mind. Because at that point, that's when I'm able to know where the problem is and work throughout it. Rather than have that hold me back for however long it takes. And also, the whole stigma of, mental health issues and everything. Because with our generation, we're taking it completely seriously. Whereas we understand each other now on what stage one person can be or the other. There's some words we're not able to describe on how we feel, but based on their facial expression or how they sound, we can clearly understand on what type of shoes they're clearly in. So that's the point.
There's something that I want to point out about that person that you mentioned earlier about neglecting mental health like that, right? And I believe a lot of people do that lately because of the false beliefs that mental health is something just to be neglected or something that, it shouldn't be just worked out, right? And even if someone is in the state of being truly happy, we actually need to understand what other mental illnesses can come up with, because you can be presented with different types of people with different histories and have different mental illnesses and realize that, I want to talk to this person, how can I help this person, right? And being able to learn that, that's something amazing, because you'll be able to understand different perspectives and be able to talk to people with elegance.
With what?
Elegance, with elegance.
There's a hand.
Yeah.
I think from the perspective of the majority of the students, or peers, or teenagers, majority is what is a show of the worst boarding school, right? That's the majority of the same students. Now, after boarding, your parents are moving, you take your stuff, go to class, and that's the only thing you have. You have class, then you have prep, and then you go back to class, you have prep. You don't really have time to sit down and actually think about what's going on with my child. Right? You feel like you're having a half of the holidays, 2 weeks, and they go back. There's not really much time for the parent and the child. Sit down and say, what's going on? How are you? How is school? Then there's no time, right? And even if they say they're coming back home, it's like, go spend time with your auntie, go spend time with your cousins, go spend time with your friends. So there's never really even in the school environment, there's never really somebody stopping to say, I see when you're not doing well in class, what's actually going on with you? Don't come and squeeze you or failing, what's actually going on with you? The first instinct you come up, she's failing, she's being a destructive student, boy, let's just punish her, because it's the best method ever. Just punish her, chop her, and she'll get those A's, right? Just beat her and she'll get those A's. And you don't really actually take time and say even in boarding schools, and especially those schools with a lot of students, to sit down and say what is actually going on with this child. So there's never really a connect, even with the teachers, because the teachers spend more time with the students way more than the parents do. They know them, they know who they are, and they know what they're about. So I think it's important even in schools to say, hey, we have this sort of counseling session, or we have meetings where we sit and we talk and we discuss about how you're actually feeling. How was your week? How are you doing? And see this is happening. What's going on? There needs to be more of a connect even in those school environments. Otherwise, when you have suicide cases in schools, people are killing themselves, and there's no no actual reason, right? So I think that's very important. We also instill that mental health, like, or knowing that mental health isn't something bad, it's something to be feared, or something that is annoying or irritating. That is something that we need to take care of even in school as well.
I think, so I have three things to say. We're going to forget. But first thing is, even as we have this discussion, and this concept of like you're saying, we should start these things in school. Like, this shouldn't just end here. Like even when you do this in teaching classes, when you go back to boarding school, like you can also start something yourself. Like saying, you know what, I'm going to have this every Saturday with a few people, and you see that people will come and talk about it. Like start these conversations with your friends, start these conversations with your teachers. Because also sometimes maybe you're the one that's meant to start a conversation. Maybe everybody else feels the same way, but they're afraid of doing that. But then also, all of us, I feel, should also learn to be sensitive as well. Because yeah, it sucks that sometimes people aren't there to say I'm here for you. So you as a person, make sure that you're always sensitive about how your friends are acting. If you notice that we're always going out with friends, let's say, and then now this friend never wants to go out again. Reach out and ask, hey, what's up? You know, I haven't seen you, how are you doing? Show them that you're there for them, because sometimes they're afraid of telling you like, I'm suffering from this. Be that friend that is always checking up. You haven't spoken to your friend. How can you not talk to your friend? In 2 weeks, be like, bro, how are you doing? I'm here for you. You want anybody to talk to. But then also, you shouldn't also be afraid, I think, to also be the one that tells your friend, hey, can I talk to you about something? You know, because sometimes, yeah, it sucks that you're not the ones reaching out, but if you really feel like you want to talk about it and get something off your chest, if you tell your friend, hey, I need someone to talk to, I'm sure they're going to be there for you, and they're going to want to have that conversation with you.
You know, let's just chat, because even as Abby started this tea talk, I remember, I think what was the first topic? Was it peer pressure, yes. Peer pressure was the first tea talk, and when we came initially, it was a bit, tense, but then when people started to talk, it was like, wow, this is good because I actually, like, a lot of us are going through the same thing, but no one can talk about it. So I feel like just make it okay to talk about it. You know, as soon as you start it off, then people will be like, oh, I can actually talk about this. I can actually, like, it's okay to not be okay. Yeah. And also, someone had mentioned how when you wake up in the morning, I think Lenny mentioned as well, you could be in a bad mood or you could be in a good mood. Like, personally, I could wake up and I'm pissed off. And that's okay, like, so I sit and I'm like, okay, why am I angry? Is it because Abby put Daisy from 16 to 24? Is that what's really gonna make me angry for the whole day? So I also feel like, obviously sometimes, I guess it can be controlled, but I do believe that waking up in the morning and if you feel like it's not a good day, ask yourself, what is it that is bothering me? Can I do something about it? If I can't do something about it, am I gonna allow it to consume my entire day? Am I gonna really allow it to just ruin everything that I wanna do because I can't do anything about it? So, yeah.
And quickly before I forget, I'm sorry, Mark, something like this, I'm just reading my book. I was also going to say something about our guy friends, okay? I really feel like, my brother was telling me this actually, how, there's so many gender stereotypes, that are there, we don't realize they're there, but we will acknowledge them without even knowing, because it's just so built into our society. Like when a guy cries and, let's say, you're told, talk about it, just call him your guy, it's also, it makes it so hard for guys to open up about, I don't know if you guys can agree with what I'm saying, I don't know about a guy, but it makes it really hard for them to talk about how they're feeling as well. So I also just want to encourage everyone to normalize their guy friends talking about something. If you do have a guy friend and you feel like they seem a bit off, talk to them about it and let them know that it's okay for them to share how they're feeling, because I feel like, I don't know, so many times I've had my guy friends really just want to cry, but they're like, I can't cry right now because I'm a guy and people can't see me cry. But it's okay to cry. It is okay to talk about how you're feeling, whether you're a female or you're a male. It's okay. I just wanted to say that real quick.
Yeah, just to add on to that. Sorry, first. I also feel like guys, I feel like, with girls, like, I could cry, I'd be like, oh my gosh, Abby, this is bothering me, But I feel like guys, when there are guys, I feel like we should also just normalize it being okay to talk about your feelings.
Like talk about what you're going through, talk about maybe your girlfriend hurt you, or maybe things are not going well at home. Like it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to feel bad. And I feel like a lot of times, just as you mentioned, men, it's like, you know, that natural man, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I can't not be okay. I can't show my emotions. I'll just be angry and go away. I feel like, again, we should just normalize talking about it.
Yeah. So this, I'm talking to the guys. This is a guy talk.
Yeah.
It's a team talk. So guys, please, you know, you won't do anything if your mind isn't okay. You know, I can tell you the story of myself. I'm talking about me now, okay? It was back in high school, you know. I finished my O-level, and I was really good in class, like really good. Then I went to high school, and the first semester of high school was really hard for me, and I used to score very good grades. And when I came back I went to the same school from high school. So when I went to high school, they chose me to be the academic, whatever, prefect, or minister, or anything. So imagine being an academic minister. Everyone is projecting you to have very good grades, and we do an exam. And true story, I got 23 in first paper, that was mathematics, and 32 in the next second paper. So like everyone in school was like, this guy Hubbard, he was supposed to be smart. We chose him to be the academic minister. Look, 23, 32. You know what I'm saying? So that really affected me. You know, and as a guy, I had to toughen up. I had to be serious. No, kawaida, not more than but deep inside, I was like, man, this is killing me. You know, and of course, being a guy, I could not comfort any guy. Like my friends, like, hey guys, I'm feeling not okay. You know, I got really bad grades, and I'm the academic minister, and I couldn't share it with anyone. So I don't know what you guys do whenever you're facing a problem. I don't know what you guys do, but let me tell you what I do. I don't know if you're gonna take it or leave it. I don't care, but that's what I do. I'm this type of a guy that whenever I go through shit, I bag it, you know, like I keep it to myself, and it piles up. This is happening, I pile it up. It happens again, I pile it up, you know. And the end of the day, I explode. I explode in a manner that I find a spot, a very serene spot, a very quiet spot, just me and myself, and I really cry. You know, so what happened that particular time in high school? So I went to backcountry, you know, just by myself, and I really cried, you know, and vented everything out. And I guess to any guy friend that is here, any guy that is here, try to be just. It's normal to feel bad, and you can never be perfect. You know, we're all trying to be amazing people in this world, so just try to take things easy, and then whenever you feel like it's overwhelming you, just cry it out or find a friend, mwambie moja mbili tatu, msaidie, you know, what do you do? That's just a very keen advice to guy friends. It's okay to cry, Anika. It's very okay.
Yeah, thanks for that.
You can cry alone. You don't want to show your friends.
Personal one to share something.
See, I don't know how to do that in a social context where you feel like, you're like, hey guys, it's okay to cry. But then when it comes to my personal life, my close guy friends are always so open about their feelings with me. Like they'll be like, I'm going through this and it's really upsetting and I feel so alone and this and this. And I feel like as my responsibility is like to be there. To be like, here's my shoulder you can cry on. Like literally, you can cry on my shoulder. And it gives them a sense of comfort where it's like, I have this one person that's so open to talking to me about my feelings that it just, I feel like it makes them feel so comfortable.
Yeah.
that they'll just sit down and pour out all their feelings. Because you know how guys are usually bottled up because they can't really talk about certain things. It's so good for them to have a break and have that one person where they go to and they're like, this is happening. And if they cry, they know that you won't tell them to, oh, are you crying? Why are you crying?
Yeah.
You're a guy. Like, those words have never come out of my mouth. Because if I can sit down and cry for 3 hours, then the guy can cry to you for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I think that's completely understandable and acceptable. So I think it's a matter of like, start with your close friends. Just whoever that you're close to, make them feel that it's okay for them to feel the way that they feel, regardless of the stereotypes and regardless of the general stereotypes. It's okay to be emotional.
I just wanted to say,
What I can say is that the world has almost 49% of people on social media. When I talk about 49%, we have every kind of personality in the social media. We have introverts, we have extroverts, we have judges, people who judge others, we have people who are thinkers, we have people who are very positive and optimistic. So there is so much more about that in social media. So what I want to advise you, the person who was talking about weight and everything, try your level best. If you think there's any comment that is so negative about you, you should just delete it. If you want to be so confident and positive, just delete it and just remove it from your site. It will just add you some confidence, but also, apart from that, if you want to stay positive, you can put the comment section off, because sometimes it's not a must to see comments, but if you think it's really wanted, sometimes it's very positive and have good followers, then you can really leave the comment section open so that you can get almost the feedback of something that you want to do or whatever the section you want. About the other question that you say, how can you reach the message to the right person, that maybe you're fat or maybe you have become thick, you have become thin. What I can say is that in a very positive perspective, it's very, very good to build a very, I can say you can build a very primary relationship with that person first and foremost. And when you build that relationship, unatengeneza kwanza urafiki. Ukishajenga huo urafiki na huyo rafiki yako ambao unataka kumwambia that kind of message, you can first, after that you can, create that boundary. You can assure her kwamba anything that you want to tell me, it's okay with me. And I'm a person who can't judge you, because I see you for you. I see you for the person you are. I see you because I have passed through this thing. I have friends who have this issue. So I can be the person to help you. Or if it's very hard for you to say so, you can look for a person who is close enough. If you're the one who is having that problem, maybe you're fat, maybe you have become fat, or maybe you have become thin, or whatever, you have issues. You can just look for a person who you think you can trust, or who you think you're very comfortable to talk to, and then you talk to that person, you tell him or her your stuff, and then if that person lets you in and gives you her details, or if that person advises you, then that person can be a close person. So that, because I believe, what am I saying so? Why am I saying you should build a relationship? Because social media has become a major source of depression, anxiety, overthinking, and sometimes most of the people who undergo these things, this depression, anxiety, and so on, they commit suicide. So if you are not going to talk about it, if you can't talk about your mental illness, if you can't talk about things that you're facing, you just cover up your pain, you cover up your thing, you can find somebody who is close enough to help you. I think it's going to be hard, because at some point in life, you have to just come up and be positive. The world can be sometimes very cruel, to be honest. I know people who comment a lot of dirty things, and you're like, is this a person, or what kind of a person is this? So you have to become positive sometimes, and if you wanna move it forward, you can just find somebody who is very positive about you. And when you get that negative comment, you just try to remember, or you remind yourself about how beautiful you are, just the way you are. You just believe in yourself, and then you can even remember about the good things that you have been doing, the good things that you have. You can even talk to your family and everything that is around you. So that's what I want to comment about the questions that you have been saying. But if you have any other things that you have not understood, you can still talk to me. Mind that social media, at most times, is a false representation of your life. You know, no one will share that they failed a test. No one is going to share their failures. They're only going to share their successes. So when you're comparing yourself to the things that you see, just keep in mind, and not everyone is going to say that they're going through something on social media, and that really, you should never be comparing yourself to anybody. And before I forget, I remember you mentioned something about you applying to college and you're stressed, and someone like, you're stressed about that, and nothing. I just want to say, when it comes to mental health, I feel like you should always put yourself first. If you feel like something has upset you, even if someone else is like, how can you tell me, no, that hasn't upset you, but it has, you know? When it comes to mental health, it's me, I'm sorry, but I'm putting myself first, whether you like it or not. I feel like that's the way that it should be.
How I look, or whatever, until I give them that space to say like, okay, let's say I would go to a friend and say, you know, I want to go losing weight, so you know, you should tell me or give me advice on that. But then if I do happen to gain weight or the process of trying to lose weight, then maybe I will feel more comfortable if they say what's going on. But if I have not given them any right to mention anything about my body, then they shouldn't even think about doing that, because then as much as it seems like something really small, it goes a long way. Because I have someone who was serving me food, and I told her, can you please add more food on my plate? And she said, but you're so bad with you, I can build a relationship with you, because I can just learn from Noya, like, you're this government in anything big. I have to wait for you to come first, for you to feel like happy and have a problem. I think you can help me best. It's this and this and this. Do you think that like all the way to Kokomo, I'll be after you coming to me, then I can say something. I think I cannot say it before even I build the relationships and all that. So you have to come first to me, and then after that, after we are talking, then I'll try to put myself closer to you so that I can build that rapport, we call it, the relationship, whereby you can open up anything and everything that you want to talk about. Because I believe when you open up, that's when we can get that real actual problem, where it's coming from, and everything can be solved. Yeah, that's what I can say.
Yeah, but I feel like if we say, oh, you should come to me, and then I'll tell you the truth is, there are some people that will really just come up to you and just be like, will say these things like, you don't know this lady, but she's still good, and she still told you to do this thing and told you. It's like, you can't control that. There will always be people like that. You need to know how to control it. But what you know is that people's opinions about you are not facts. And yeah, it can hurt a bit, but you know what? Like, just know that as long as you're happy with the way that you look, that's her opinion. If you shouldn't, like, it's not a fact about it. If you love the way that your body is, then that's all that you matter.
Again, going back to the way that you approach it is very important. But one part we should take key in is, as much as you tell someone to gain weight, to lose weight, you have to remember that sometimes it's a medical thing too.
Yeah.
Even if I'm trying, it could be something just with my body. And I never really realized this until I had one friend consistently, we knew each other since we were kids, but they had a weight problem from such a young age, and people used to just make fun of her weight. They used to comment, tell me to lose weight. She went on diets, she used to run, do everything, but nothing was changing. And people used to be like, she's lying, she's probably not doing it right, or maybe, and then you feature eating food on the side. But then her family were like, okay, maybe there's something really off. They go to India, they do a whole test and whatever. She had a lump in her body that was releasing like off hormones that just made her body imbalanced. So sometimes when you're telling someone about losing weight, you have to check medically, is she okay? You have to ask, are you mentally okay? Are you like binge eating? Are you, not only for people that are gaining weight, but for people that are losing weight too. Again, the situation where I had a friend was losing weight, I remember asking them, dude, are you okay? Because it's gotten to a point where it's not looking good on you. And they were like, no man, like I'm at a point where my family is not financially helping me. I do not have food, like I'm eating bread and water sometimes. Or so sometimes when people are losing weight, gaining weight, you have to remember financial situations, you have to remember health, you have to remember mental situations. Us right now, people who are here, I feel like it's something we should personally start practicing. We should also encourage others. Like I have parents that do call out people in this situation. Even me personally, like I have a parent that's very encouraging and will be like, oh, maybe let's try this, let's do this. And then I have a parent who is like, nah, just starve yourself basically and lose weight. And thank God for me, I also have siblings who are very encouraging, who would call out my parents and be like, that is not the way you approach it. So for us here, encourage our friends, encourage our siblings, our parents. You see something and you be like, okay, sidebar, that wasn't it. Even at weddings, I take it upon myself to be like, no, I'm not gonna laugh with you, no, that's just wrong.
Yeah, just to add on to what you say about how your sibling would call out to let's say the time, I feel like this is so important. So many times people will rant on, I don't know, on their Instagram or something, they'll be like, this is wrong, this is so bad, you shouldn't be doing this, blah, blah, blah. But then when they're chilling with their friends, and then their friend does that to you, let's say you're with your friend, and then someone pulls up and they're like, you can't do it, they're not gonna say anything, they're just gonna be no, you not saying something is you being a part of the problem. So it's also, let's say you're in a situation where someone is saying something or doing something that maybe you know isn't right, they made a comment and you be like, they shouldn't have made that comment, call them out. Because you calling them out actually is you being with them to let them such a problem out.
Last point too.
Yeah.
This was previously when we were talking about the whole emotional awareness and talking to friends. I completely encourage when you have a problem, talk to a friend. And I'm a person that if I'm close to someone, I have no problem coming to you and be like, okay, I'm not okay right now. But at the same time, I encourage people to be aware of their friends' mental space too. So even I'm a person that can be like, come talk to me, like I'm always open if you have a problem. And sometimes I don't know how to voice that I have a problem. So what I tend to do when I have a friend, I go to them and I'm like, hey, I have a problem. But are you in the mental space to listen to my problem? Because that's too much. Because I've had situations where I was like, I am trained on hearing other people's problems. I get that they need me, and that's why I can't say no. But at the same time, I want them to ask me, are you okay? Yeah. I face a problem, they face a problem.
So I wish we could go back to that point of like guys don't cry and all that. Yes, in my experience, the last month was kind of rough, some of the issues about that. Yeah, so I remember I was at school in a single-sex school, precise. So like if I start crying, everyone will be like, Evan, why are you crying? That's weird and all that. So yeah, when everyone is asleep, I start crying, but one day my sister told me a problem shared is half solved. So I was like, okay, if the problem shared is half solved, why am I keeping this thing to myself?
Yeah.
So I went to one of my friends. It was a night, because I know when I talk about the problem, I have to cry. Like, crying is inevitable, so I was like, I'm going to cry. So it was a night, I told my friend everything, what's going on, what's happening, and all that. The friend was like, he never told me like what to do, and he was just like, do you want to cry? Then you can cry. I was like, why? I thought you could give me solutions like, you should do this, this, and this. So I find that it's okay for we guys, and whoever is listening to me right now, it's okay for us to cry. In fact, we are all given emotions. Like, we're not supposed to be tough and happy all the time, but we're supposed to cry sometimes. That's why the feeling of crying is there. So if we try to go against the nature of crying, it's like we're being unfair. So we should just cry out. We should cry and feel free to express ourselves. For when you just speak out, you feel this feeling like, oh, I'm free. So we should speak out, share a problem with the ones who are willing to listen, as how she said previously. And we should stick with the balance of nature, crying, smiling, jokes. Like, we should do everything, we should not skip it. Yeah, that's all. And about body shaming, okay, yeah, I've been stealing my whole life, but I feel like Debbie said earlier that we should not take things personally. And I'm a poem writer, though not official poem writer. So I do English, hence I write poems. I remember one day I was sitting in class and I was like, I want to do ABC. Let me go ask my friends. Then suddenly I was like, why should I? I took my pen, just like, I wrote down, be yourself. You don't need validation. All you got to do is secure intention. Because that's what matters in this niche. That was the poem in which every time I want to do something, I go back to my poem and I'm like Shakespeare guy. So I'm really I should do this. I should secure my own intention. It might be good to me, but to another person it's like it's weird, it's crazy, it's absurd. So don't seek validation, just secure your intention because that's what's happy intention. That's all.
And like how he's like he went to his friends and his friends like they didn't really like encourage you.
Actually, after writing that poem, I was like, I don't need anything.
Yeah, exactly. When you believe in yourself and you give other people reason to believe in you. So as long as you believe in yourself.
Gunganers Info Channel. Subscribe now.